We're back.
We're comfy.
Back and better than ever. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Life gets in the way. It's been a bit too. We've been crazy, and obviously with the preparations of Christmas and then Christmas and all sorts, we're debating whether to be time sensitive or not.
Did you have a good Christmas?
Technically, this has been recorded before Christmas. We'll be unplugged and open and honest, but this is going out after Christmas because we're wanting to focus a little bit more on that between Christmas lull of everyone's stuff full after Christmas. They're starting to drift, saying next year is going to be my year, and they're starting to plan that almighty attack either in the gym or the diet book or the DVD from last year's coming back out. So we were talking about the unplugged topic of
what day of the week is it?
What?
Because you never know what day of the week it is in that time.
No,
especially with Christmas is a Monday.
It's also that
Boxing Day.
It's also that lull. When surfing terms, it's the lull between the sets where you kind of you're getting all amped. Surfed. So sets generally come in waves, obviously in sets, and then there's a lull, and then there's more. So in between, you've got this period of re-jigging and position yourself to get in the right place, and getting all amped and ready. And then either when the wave comes, you bail or you make the same mistake. And that's the whole goal of today, is hopefully helping people to not make the same mistakes and go into the new year, regenerated and focused and wanting to achieve different goals in their health, but not necessarily setting up that big Mount Everest climb and then we're bailing. The big wave comes through and we're chickening out because we're really not committed.
Hope your board's still attached.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think the key thing I've noticed, like I've been in this industry now 15 years or whatever, like since whenever, a long while. But when you see people's goals at Christmas and for the New Year period, there's these repetitive goals that they've not hit.
Yeah.
And I think it's looking into why.
I suppose with your experience within certainly the gym and the weightlifting and the bodybuilding side of it, being in the gym is the classic, to me, I always think the classic place where we see it the most with New Year, New resolution. Whereas we deal with a lot of regular
You deal with it March time when been in the gym.
Well, we actually see probably in the January, February where the injury comes because they've gone too gung-ho too quickly. Then they get the problem and then they don't go back because they've been knocked off that rhythm. They really pump, they go, and they're like, I was on the treadmill and I got my pace up and I was doing this, and then the hamstring went. And then the worst thing is they don't get back into it because by then the old habits and they've tricked. So they go too big, too hard.
The thing is now, like being in functional medicine rather than a personal trainer, I very rarely start someone off with a training program. Like some people won't have a personal trainer and they have access to a gym and they want some advice with what the training they're doing. But when we start off with this stuff, I'm looking at, okay, what's the biggest bang for the buck? And they've got this goal of losing weight, say, for example. But why haven't they lost weight in the past? Yeah. It's not because of the exercise. It's usually their lifestyle, like routine, their habits in the kitchen, their habits, sounds wrong, habits in the bedroom, sleep, for anyone out there.
All those habits meaning lack of sleep. So
yeah, exactly. Or like you've got screen time, like all these things. Like so you're waking up during the night, poor glucose management. And I think one of the things we can get drawn into is so much in January. We think that this big detox diet is having a great impact. But look at what happens in December. More alcohol, less routine. We look at a lot more processed, sugary food over Christmas. And then you're holding a lot of inflammation and water retention. So you have this week in January and people have a 10-pound drop because that inflammation comes out. And then they get kind of frustrated the second week.
It's frustrating also because it's now the lull time between Christmas where people are then stuffed full, they feel lethargic, they've overcooked it. And so it's the greatest motivator saying, right, I want to feel better.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the marketers, certainly the gyms and that, they tap into that desire. But do people really step back and say, right, a holistic approach of what does my life look like? What time am I getting up in the morning? What time, how much screen time? What is my sleep preparation? They don't look at that. They usually it's energy is low, and I feel, as you say, inflammation. The belt buckle's a bit tight, and therefore I put on weight.
Yep.
And so they don't really actually assess what's going on. They focus on those two big things: is I want to get fitter and I want to lose weight. And they don't really understand that fitter and weight is not just hitting yourself in the gym or then going on a big detox, where you're right, you do then lose a lot of fluid. Water chases the drop in glucose. We kind of go into that starvation. But then we don't realize the physiology is you hit that, the body then rebounds afterwards. So they're setting themselves up by being hyper focused on that detox, that actually they're setting themselves up for the rebound. So this time, with that lull time of I'm not yet committed and they haven't signed up, but I want to do something, would really encourage. In chiropractic, we will talk about the 3 toxins of, on the levels of physical, emotional, chemical. So we would start saying, just assess in this quiet time between Christmas and New Year, physical, emotional, and chemical. In lifestyle, we're either going to be toxic in something or we're going to be deficient. So yes, physically, we may want to be a little bit more active because we sit in front of the computer, but that doesn't mean we suddenly have to sign up to running a half marathon in 6 weeks. It can just be like, I'm going to go for a walk in my lunch break. I'm going to be a little bit more active, because that affects also mood and affects sleep and all things. And then emotional things of how much stress do I have? Where am I coming from? What can I change? Or how can I cope with the stress better? Or the sleep element of things. And then chemically, that goes into really either the diet, but also hormones. So understanding sleep hormones, understanding cortisol, blood sugar regulation, all these things. I think a lot of people can actually take the pressure off January, thinking it's you've got more pain, more gain. It's hard work, and it doesn't have to be. That's where working with someone like ours, it really helps, because you can
look deeper into what's the root cause.
What is lifestyle, rather than that same old thing. I've just got to pound myself and it's hard. It doesn't actually have to be that hard work.
I find this time of year that I don't have a New Year offer, and because I think it devalues my current clients.
Yeah.
And when I have I've got a package that I'm doing for the whole year, as we've said about, but that's been spoken about the last month or so. But we're going to get smashed with adverts for health. Like if you look at a greens product or something like that, now what people hopefully, they won't see me do, even though like on my podcast I've got a sponsor which has a green, a probiotic and a reg drink, is that you'll probably see marketers say, I'm massively bloated, I'm having this greens drink for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, this reg drink, this probiotic, and that's the thing that stopped the bloat. But what we have to remember is like, that's not the magic pill. No. That's something that's going to help our gut health, but we have to stop eating all the processed food for it to really help.
And it's got to be sustainable. It's got to be, this is where we've spoken many times on this, because that's the crux of
functional.
The financial challenge is people then want the quick fix for spending less, and the magic formula. So they're led by that short financial thing of, I spend some money in January and therefore I get the quick fix. But it's the long haul of understanding and working through things in that lifestyle which really gets you to the end. So it is tortoise in the hare. It is a case of, but it doesn't have to be hard work. It's not a slog. It's more actually enlightening. It's more understanding how the body ticks based in physiology, but also then it's sustainable. So in actual fact, the false economy, the financial hit, is the most expensive in that January, February. And then you see it with the gyms. People are trying to backtrack getting out of contracts because that doesn't actually bring the results.
I think, looking at that, it's hard with the sustainable side of things. Now, I think we should do a podcast on, as I said, about being diagnosed with autism and ADHD. But one thing of ADHD is we want things like that. A lot of people are
Well,
like
and
that
also
now. We wanted like that instant gratification.
most of the dopamine element of modern day life is about the instant.
Yeah,
Pay,
and
get the gratification now and pay later.
yeah,
Get the so
pay the credit card, and then we'll worry about the debt later.
so we're all set up for that. But it is just that case. I think at this time of year is actually start with an element of understanding, and that I mean the physiology and all that we can worry about that. But most people, it's actually not change and health changes is actually not that difficult. The sustainability is difficult, and you've always spoken about the importance of accountability or someone having in your corner, and I think that's more valuable.
My training partner and I were talking about accountability today. Is that I've been through a roller coaster of health this year, and at times I've not wanted to train, but he was turning up, so I'm going to train. And this morning he wasn't feeling as good, but I turned up and we had a great session because I was turning up. He turned up, and that accountability, whether it's training, whether it's nutrition, whether it's chiropractic, like you coming here paying for an adjustment. Hopefully, you're going to actually then be more active elsewhere, like doing the things that you need to rehabilitate.
I think when you work with someone or accountability, a lot of people tend to think of accountability means if I'm slipping up, I'm going to be told off, and that's not the case. And hopefully, as people have picked up, we have stuff happen in our lives.
Yeah.
We also have challenges. We're not perfect, so we relate to those kind of things. It's not saying this formula. We've got a one-track formula. You must follow this. It's the key with healthcare is it's adaptive and everyone's different, but there are common threads, which we put highlight on. So so we're keen, to as we've been doing, support our community, be involved with talks, make ourselves available for different things. So anything through the year that you feel that we can contribute to, we're always happy to give up some time to spread awareness and make a difference. We're committed to serving our
I think
our
this
community.
is one of the things. When you look at goals, I've switched my goals from a financial goal to help more people goal. Because if you help more people, your finances take care of itself anyway. But before we do stop, I think it's good to mention, needs to be mentioned about, you have dry January, you have veganuary. It's easy to do a month of healthy when everyone else is doing it around you.
Yeah.
So I always say, think about why you're doing these things. Because if you're going to just go for no alcohol for a month, you might feel good for that month. Think about how you feel in that month.
Yeah.
Do you want to feel like that in February, March, April? So many people aren't doing it because they want to do it. They're doing it because other people are doing it.
Well,
and then the 1st of February, they go and get wasted, or they go and have about 10 steaks. To be fair, I'd have the steaks through January, but it is what it is. But like the alcohol things, like, why are we doing it? Why do we need to drink? No studies say that drink is good.
Yeah.
And
you're right. And also that element is it's not saying this, so therefore, definitely no one must drink. But as you say, listen to the body and saying, this is, I have to go back when I was a student and then soon qualified, going out and having a shed load of beers was an everyday, every day.
Remember
was
that
an
when
every
DJing,
week kind of binge.
Music college
and
stuff.
you do, that's what you do when you're younger and that. And then now, from an alcohol perspective, I'm really lightweight. I enjoy a beer. I have no problems with that. But I know now how my body feels if I have a lot more beers.
Yeah.
And I kind of I don't want to feel like rubbish. I can't feel like rubbish the next day. I've got work. I've got patients to see. So, but there's a lot of people where the norm is to have a skin load all the time.
Maybe that's
so when you do detox and you do the dry January, pay a little attention. It's a bit like also when people then they switch their diet, they suddenly notice their nails are stronger, the hair grows quicker, thicker, the skin is better. Have a note that, because you'll actually start seeing what the alcohol does, what the overindulging does, and how our body actually does an amazing job to try to continually detox. So it's always ironic that people then do a detox, but the body's detoxing all the time.
Maybe that's one for me. I was like, guys, do you want to see an episode on alcohol? I think we may have done one. We're pretty certainly done one at some point. But do you want to see a new episode on alcohol? Do you want to? What episodes do you want us to record?
Yeah.
Because if we know, then we can collate a bit more information, have a bit more structure, and hopefully answer some more questions.
Yeah, that'll be a good idea for next year. Brilliant. Happy New Year. I hope Christmas was good.
Enjoy Jules Holland on New Year. Probably recorded in November.
Probably pre-recorded like this. Have a good one. I'll see you in the new year.
Take care, guys.